In the infancy of vacuum tubes, a scarcity prevailed. A finite map of hertz and kilohertz where signals sailed. Because the slots were limited, the state imposed a weight. The broadcaster is trustee, a steward of the state. The Mayflower decision first forbade the partisan tongue, lest the power of the pulpit be to a single interest swung. The airwaves were a commons, not a privateer's domain, requiring balanced discourse to break the bias chain. The Zenith arrived in '69, a legal battle cry. The Red Lion broadcasting case ascended to the sky. The court affirmed the mandate, the viewer holds the right. Above the station owner's quest for editorial might. The right of the viewers and the listeners they decreed is paramount to any private monologic greed. So the doctrine stood a sentry, a symmetrical demand, ensuring that the other side was broadcast through the land. But the 80s brought a friction, a deregulatory gale, with Mark Fowler at the FCC declaring fairness stale. He viewed the television as a toaster with pictures, an appliance for the market freed from legislative strictures. They claimed the chilling effect made the broadcasters retreat, avoiding the contentious to keep their records neat. In 1987, the commission cut the cord, and the balanced viewpoint mandate was put to the sword. Seismic, a tectonic jagged shift, as the shared reality began its long and lonely drift. Without the legal anchor of the counter-argument, the news became a weapon for the ideologically bent. From the AM radio towers to the cables glowing blue, we see the partisan reflection of a truth that's split in two. The doctrine is a ghost now, a relic of the past, while the echoes of the echo chamber hold the nation fast. In the October of the void, the constitutional perimeter was tactically destroyed. 340 pages of a convoluted script into the hands of the legislators, the document was slipped. No time for the deliberation, no room for the dissent. A railroad of the statutes where the liberties were bent. They called it uniting and strengthening the land, but the ink was still wet on the panopticon they planned. Behold the 215, the library decree, where the record of your reading is no longer truly free. Any tangible thing became the vacuum's widest maw, a bypass of the probable cause requirement of the law. The FBI approached the desk with a gag order in hand. Silence was the mandate, a judicial contraband. They could peer into your medicine, your finance, and your files, while the Fourth Amendment withered across the digital miles. Then came the sneak and peek, the ghost upon the floor, the right to enter dwellings without a knock upon the door. 213 permitted, The delayed notification, a secret search of property, a domestic infiltration, and the roving wiretap followed the person, not the line. A technological audio shadow, a surveillance state design. It captured the peripheries, the innocent and the near, a net of electronic mesh woven out of national fear. The sunset was a promise, but the architecture stayed. The infrastructure FBI was permanently laid. Though the sections may expire, the 702 remains, and the collective metadata still flows through the veins. We live within the transparency of a legislative act, when the privacy of the citizen is a liquidated pact. The teachers in the puppet show have eyes behind the screen, monitoring the frequency of everything between. Architecture, the moral floor was laid in the shadows of the steeple where the collective conscience stayed. A shared linguistic ritual, a teleological aim, where the good was transcendental, not a monetized acclaim. But the pews began to empty as the ledger took the lead, replacing the apostle with the gospel of the greed. But consensus was refashioned from the virtue to the price, and we sacrificed the spirit for a digital device. Now observe the universal idol, the green and fibrous face, occupying every crevice, every sanctified space. It mimics the omnipotence, the prime mover of the will, promising the paradise. If the paupers you can feel, it's a faith-based operation, a fiduciary creed, depending on the credit for the system to succeed. The full faith of the nation is the prayer that we recite, to keep the phantom value from the coming of the night. The youth have left the temples for the clergy of the trade, seeking grace within the margins where the fortunes are displayed. The prophet is the founder and the scripture is the trend, where the accumulation of the self is the only honored end. No longer souls in transit through a temporary sphere, but assets to be liquidated in the fiscal year. We've traded the eternal for the infinite expansion, building moral sandcastles within a mortgage mansion. But the dot is showing fissures, the myth begins to bleed as the Kirchner authorities succumbs to the stand key. When the currency dissolves, then the consensus is the cost for a people with no compass are definitively lost. Without a moral anchor that exists beyond the mold, the factor of the sum so bond is our legislative fault. When the idol is a shadow and the value is a lie, the temple of the market is the first thing that will die. secrets of the empire are whispered and known. A man named Franklin, with a clearance of gold, met the emissaries where the narrative is sold. In a clandestine booth, mid-conversation and steam, he fractured the seal of the Persian regime, passing oral dispatches, the classified breath, regarding the ventures of statecraft and death. No microfilm exchanged, no parchment in hand, just the intangible data with the lay of the land. Enter Rosen and Weissman, the veteran pair, whose influence hung in the Capitol air. Accused by the state under 1917, the Espionage Act entered the scene. For the first time in history, the civilian was caught in the web of a statute where secrets are bought. Were they diplomatic scouts or a shadow state wing? The indictment sent tremors through the lobbying ring. IPAC stood shivering, a pillar in doubt, as the FBI agents began to search out. But the defense had a gambit, a gray mail design, to summon the giants to the witness stand line. They threatened to call on the cabinet's elite to prove that the leak was a standard form feat. If the secrets are spilled in the courtroom's light, the damage, they argued, is a permanent blight. So the DOJ faltered, the charges were dropped, and the legal momentum was suddenly stopped. The Leviathan survived through a judicial retreat, proving some influence are too deep to defeat. Now the strategy shifts from the intel to gold as the united democracy batters unfold. No more backroom whispers or sensitive slips, but $100 million campaign on their lips. They target the primary, they curate the seat, ensuring the dissident tastes a defeat. It's a digital mandate, a financial decree, the evolution of lobbying for the whole world to see. From the Pentagon leak to the super PAC's roar, the architecture of access has changed evermore. The Hobie architecture, the statute of 34, a legislative tether on the electronic roar. No longer wild currents or a chaotic acoustic sea, but a codified allotment for the public interest plea. The FCC emerged, then the curator of the void, ensuring that the spectrum wasn't privately destroyed. They deemed the era commons a fiduciary trust, where the license is a privilege and the service is a must. The signal is the scepter, the frequency the throne, but the echoes in the living room are never truly owned. From the mandate of the fairness to the commercialized design, observe the shifting boundary of the broadcast borderline. Then came the fairness doctrine, the intellectual guard, compelling every station to keep a balanced yard. If a controversial phantom haunted the nightly news, the law required a platform for the antithetical views. It sought a grand consensus, a shared perceptive floor, preventing partisan fever from spilling through the door. But in the year of '87, the gavel struck the end, allowing bias to become the broadcaster's closest friend. Now turn the dial to Britain, to a June of '55, where the monopoly of the BBC was buried, barely alive. The Television Act arrived to fracture the control and inserted the commercial as the medium's new soul. The puppets in the playroom, frozen on the 19th day, mirror the loss of innocence as the teachers lead the way. Is it education's vessel or a corporate machine? The algorithm's shadow falls upon the glowing screen. The 96th Amendment removed the ownership cap, a corporate consolidation, a cartographic trap, 1,000 local voices absorbed into the few, dictating the perception of what is false and true. No longer public servants, but merchants of the site. They've traded the objective for the curated delight. The lights have shifted hands now from the viewer to the vault, and the fracturing of reality is the legislative fault. Come on titties, come on my titties, coming over titties. Got come on my titties, come on titties, come on my titties, come on my titties, coming over titties. Got come on my titties, come on my titties, coming over titties. Got come on my titties, come on my titties, coming over titties. Headlights on, eyes wide open, fall asleep and start to float, looping on the flyby. It can take a lifetime. How much time do you spend thinking it over? I just can't pretend. No man's land, loop again, thinking it over. You start where you TV's buzzing, but nobody talks back. Just fuzzy little noises on a scratchy sounding track. I try to send a message, but the signal's acting slow. Feels like I'm calling out to places only clouds can go. But I won't stop trying, even if it's far. 'Cause somewhere out there listening might be another shining star. Oh, static on the wind, carry my voice where ventures begin. I get mixed up, but I'm trying, and even when it's tough, I keep on trying. So I send it through the radio waves, hoping someone out there's brave enough to answer in and talk through all the static on the wind. My shadow on the sidewalk follows everywhere I roam. It dances in the sunshine like it wants a friend to phone. I build my little stories out of sticks and leaves and dirt. A world that listens kindly when my feelings kinda hurt. So if you hear me calling when the day feels long, just answer with a whisper, we can share a tiny song. Oh, static on the wind, carry my voice where ventures begin. I get mixed up, but I'm trying, and even when it's tough, I keep on trying. So I send it through the radio waves, hoping someone out there's brave enough to answer in and talk through all the static on the wind. Who's tuning all the airwaves? Who's catching every sound? Maybe friendly little breezes help our voices get around. And maybe every message finds a friend before it ends. 'Cause everybody's looking for a place to call a friend. Oh, static on the wind, carry my voice where ventures begin. My heart's small, but it's trying, and songs feel brighter when we're not hiding. So I send it through the radio waves, hoping someone out there's brave enough to answer in and talk through all the static on the wind. Brave enough to answer in and talk through all the static on the wind.
Lost generation getting disillusioned with it. War's permanent mood got me losing interest. Excessive character arc for every TV series. Don't make the movie a farce, but prestige anti-heroes. Like Heath Ledger's Joker, but the younger baby version. Don't worry about the body count, it's just a lazy person. Going baby crazy with the T. Doing too much work, that's a paper chase for me. The reason that I burst. Family or my boss, money is the reason that they die first. Mindset like a coroner, treat them all like a patient. Gotta hold it down and stand tall. I can't forget the trailer for Tenet when they rewind it. Another time travel movie, look, I'ma wait to buy it. Got me questioning what I thought I knew, that's for certain. Even some of the interstellar scenes weren't in person. There's a hidden meaning behind the screen is all green. The backdrop for another scene. The reason why I question when they all tell me act natural, when the first rule of acting is being unnatural. But this was a natural disaster, why would I follow rules? Do I wanna be a follower? No, I'm not a fool. They'll sell you the dream, come to LA, you'll make it in the movie. Why go to Hollywood when they film it in the boonies? Man, I'm just confused. When I told you I was disillusioned, you didn't think I was being rude. And that's how I was raised, stuck in this lost phase. If you're under 30, welcome to the race.